All right, everybody, and welcome back to CaSaundra Jolliff Live. This, believe it or not, is take two. We had a few difficulties once again with the technology piece. Of course, you guys know I don't own the internet, the internet, all that net. I don't own any of that. So I decided I am determined to do this broadcast, period, point blank. And so before the challenges took place, let me know, first of all, if you can hear me, if you can see me okay throughout the broadcast. I've hardwired this, so purposefully we won't have any issues. All right, so let me just get right into it. Okay, so today I had seen Sarah Jakes Roberts' Instagram message that she had this morning. And actually, I had seen it I don't know, a day or two ago. I don't recall exactly which day it was, but I know it wasn't too long ago. And so in short, I only looked at it just for a few minutes, maybe 2 minutes, if that. And then it circled back around early this morning. So I said, you know what, let me check this out. And the title caught my attention. And the title that she was talking about was Living from Inadequacy. And I was like, what? What is she talking about? But then I had to think about it. And so I actually listened to it through and through. And then I began to think about some things that I've been thinking about from a place of being adequate and inadequate. So I am going to share that with you. Well, hello there. Beautiful. Welcome to CaSaundra Jolliff Live. That's I want to say this with such great joy and even glorious. I don't even want to use the word pride, but you know what I mean. The First Lady of Alton, Illinois, her husband, the first Black mayor, African-American mayor of Alton, Illinois, which is my hometown, is joining us today. So thank you, Lady Sheila. I always called them, this is long before this happened, the Obamas of Alton. It's just the Obamas of Alton. Anyway, that's a little sidebar. So let me get back to the nitty gritty of the gist of the show. So I'm going to put this here up. Good to see you, Linda, and thanks for watching out. Can you hear me okay, Linda? Can you guys hear me? I'm trying to do with this here technology. All right, so here is the title of the show, and that is The Hidden Gift of Inadequacy. And I know what you must be thinking. How in the world is inadequacy? How does it have a gift in it? Like, CaSaundra, you are really tripping. And when I looked at Sarah's video in its entirety, I got the gist of what she was saying. And I was thinking on the same lines as her several days ago, and on and off honesty, on and off over the last, 2-3 months. And just in my own private time, my own private thoughts, you know what I'm saying? And so with that being said, there were some things that I was able to get out of it once I listened to it all the way. And then I kind of shared a few of my own personal and private thoughts with a few people privately on Instagram. And so I'm going to share with you just a little bit of what I meant by there's a hidden gift in inadequacy. But first of all, let me give you the definitions of that, right? So I looked it up online, and I'm going to share with you what some of the definition is of being inadequate. It's someone that feels inadequate. They feel that they do not have the qualities and abilities to necessarily do something or cope with life in general. Then I looked up the meaning for cope or coping: to face and deal with responsibilities, problems, or difficulties, especially successfully or in a calm or adequate manner, to overcome the problem. So then I had to look up the word adequate. Good enough or a quality that is acceptable. So let me share with you some of the things that I got out of this. And thank you guys once again for joining. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, so we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty tonight. Thank you letting me know that. Linda has been chiming in lately, and I appreciate you supporting the show. And listen, guys, do me a super favor. As I always say, make sure that you not only like this and love it, but please do me a super favor today and really share this on your social media-ness, because everybody deals with inadequacy. And for some reason, we have a shame around feeling inadequate. And more importantly, there is something that there is a hidden gem in being inadequate. Now, I'm not saying park there, because there are, you are like literally one of billions of people around the world who constantly deal with feeling inadequate at some point of their day. Not everybody all the time, 100%, but let's just keep it real. We feel that at least once a week. I mean, if you don't, you just, either you're that good or you're not being truthful. Yeah, you're either that good. And if you are, I applaud you. And, inquiring purposes want to know. We want to know how you can stay that consistent with not feeling inadequate. And hey, there are some people who've mastered that. So I get it. But before they mastered it, I can guarantee you they experienced what it meant and felt like to be inadequate. So some of the things that I shared just out to private posts was just sharing a different perspective. And I'll share with you a little bit of what I'm talking about here. Hopefully I can repeat it the way I said it, because I did chop up some of the grammar-ness. Missed a few words. But I said, in short, that behind the words of this title, which is the gift of inadequacy, and then I changed this title to the hidden gift of inadequacy, because I'm talking about what's hidden behind inadequacy. And so in it, I said, I know you might think that it's not a gift. There's not a gift inside of you, because it may not be found in the perspective that in the manner in which you view it or dealing with it privately, but we all deal with it. In the gift of inadequacy, there's this dirty little word that we all hate, knowing about ourselves, knowing. And I even said, notice that I said we, us type of thing, versus me saying the word me or you. That was my form of not just owning it and saying, hey, you know what? I feel this way. And I do. There are times and stages of feeling inadequate, fear-based, not measuring up, not having the confidence that I think that I can responsibly handle something that's large, that really does require more education, more expertise, more experience, more access, more funding. So we all have our own things that we feel inadequate about, but I don't want us to park there, because I'm not about just talking about it and not having a solution to go with it, or not trying to inspire you to change. But I want to share with you that, there are these hidden, or these apparent, some insecurity is hidden, and some insecurity is very super obvious, just like I'm wearing this lovely piece of cloth, okay, called clothes. And so I began to talk about how the insecurity, we may not say it in our words, but we show it in our actions. And in addition to that, it's hard for us to be truthful. We'll make excuses around it because of the shame, once again, the insecurity and the fear, and all of that is fear-based. So what is the solution to that? Because, guys, I don't like to talk about, the negative, I'd like to come back with something that is not only positive, but is transformational, because you're going to need that. And so the gift of that is that God has put something inside of each and every one of us that makes us adequate. Meaning he's given us the ability and the certain gifts and certain talents and abilities and knowledge and experiences that help us to become more of who we are, and that we don't have to feel inadequate. We only feel that way really when we're not trusting him, and when we're not depending on him or leaning on him or obeying him. When we're doing things in our own strength. And I'm speaking that particularly that of the Christian perspective or the Christian faith or the kingdom mindset, is that we rely on our giftings and we rely on our personality and we rely on our things and our peeps. And so with that being said, that thing just begins to continue to pile up and cause us to become calloused to being adequate, to knowing that we have enough, that we are more than enough. And it's because of who he is within us and how he's equipped and wired us that we are more than enough. I want to chime in here and see what Linda has to say. Others can do the same thing. Others can do that same thing better. Absolutely. And this is why you need to champion others who do a certain thing better than you. So that insecurity or that jealousy or that comparison and all that jazz doesn't consume you. But you don't want to park there. You definitely want to acknowledge it. So let me go back to the hidden gem. It is just like having, you've heard the expression that is a real thing, a diamond in the rough. And if you know things about diamonds, they are like deep in the earth. They're not the most attractive things when you first see them. But when they go through the purification process, that's when you get that spark. That's when you get that shine. That's when you get that quality of an incredible diamond. And when you think about gold, pure gold has to be purified. And that means all that stuff, all those impurities that look like crap has to come up to the surface and be removed off to get to the purity of that gold. Now, I've got to be honest, I've never held a nice gold bar, but they say that, they're gold before it gets hard and it's very soft and kind of pliable. It's a precious metal. I want you to think about the words precious metal. And that's kind of how we are in his sight. We are precious to him. We are precious goods. We are precious individuals. We are precious gifts. And so I want to encourage you and admonish you to not linger in inadequacy, but recognize it. Don't ignore it. Don't pretend like it doesn't exist, because that you already know it does. But the key there is not to be consumed with it. And so whatever you need to do to make a shift in your mind, a shift in your spirit, and a shift in your emotions. And oftentimes that's where the real battle is in our soul. The battlefield of the mind, Joyce Myers talks about. And your soul is comprised of your emotions, is comprised of your mindset, the way you think. It's comprised of your will. And so when you have those three components working, it can be challenging. Yes, a diamond in the rough. And so with that being said, there's the hidden gem. There is the gift that is within. See, one thing about God, he doesn't just present a problem to you and say, go in there and conquer it. He already gives you solution, but sometimes you have to dig that out, or sometimes he just presents it to you, or sometimes you have to seek it out, or you have to search it out. But my point is that there is a hidden gift inside of you. And if you will stop comparing yourself, including myself, I do it too. I mean, I don't do it often. I go in stages, if I could just tell you the truth. I go in stages where I'm maybe checking out somebody else's how they're doing their business, or how they're doing their relationships, or how they're doing their finances, or how they're doing whatever. Instead of just parking my little biscuits in my own lane and working and tilling the garden that I have those trip vests. And surely I am not the only one that has those trip vests, right? Once again, there is a gift in inadequacy. And I'm saying that the gift is that you are more than enough. And that with Christ, with Yeshua, with Yahweh, He gives you the ability in your weakness to make you strong. And it is supernatural. It is nothing that you can even, your natural ability, your personality, your natural giftings, that cannot even make it happen. It is a supernatural surrender, is a supernatural thing that happens. It's like He puts His super on your natural ability. I want to go back to the word coping. I don't know if I really honed in on that. Coping is another word that came from around inadequacy and adequate. And it says to face and deal with responsibilities, problems, and difficulties, especially successfully in a realm of adequate or calm manner. And another word is to overcome problems. Now, from a biblical perspective, He has made us overcomers. It is a decision that He has made. We're not trying to overcome. We have already overcame. I know that doesn't sound like good English, but I want you to understand some things that God does doesn't make sense in human forms, in human terms. And so just trust His process. Let's piggyback here if we would. There's some comments that are coming in. Yes, absolutely, Linda. I'm glad you're able to identify. People cope in a variety of different ways. And that is true. Some cope with working out, some cope with drugs, some cope with sex, some cope with money, some cope with being super organized, some cope with, oh my gosh, food, some cope with just, you name it. Well, I don't need to tell you what it is. You cope. You know what you do. I know what I do. Right? But we all cope. And the thing about that is that you do need to trust His process. And that requires vulnerability and surrender. Not wanting to be in control and feeling out of control. So nobody likes to feel out of control. I don't like it. And the older that I get, the more I can't stand it. But when I surrender, when I give up the thing that I feel like I have to have, or the thing I feel I have to do, that's when things happen. So as I end this very brief episode, I want to once again encourage you to know that even in your inadequacy, there is a gift. And I am not encouraging you to linger in inadequacy. Please don't do that. That's not the way you want to live. Trust me. I mean, you should know by now, right? I mean, if you're over the age of 10 and you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, and even the 90s. If you're watching in your 90s, thank you so much. Let me know. But my point is that there is a hidden gift in inadequacy. And part of the hidden gift is becoming whole. It's becoming your true self. It's discovering that, discovering more of that. And that you can do all things through Christ. And here's the caveat to that. It is all things that you are destined to do, that you're purposed to do. And it's through him that you get the opportunity to accomplish it, to do it. And you guys already know that it is not going to be smooth sailing, but it's definitely worth the risk. So what I'm saying is, don't let inadequacy be an enemy to you. Don't hide it. Don't run from it. Deal with it at best head on. Don't do it alone. Don't do it. Don't do it alone. Find an accountability partner, somebody that is an advocate for you, that is a straight shooter. You know, they care about you, so they're not going to stroke you. They're not going to stroke you, but they're going to love on you and be honest with you, and they're going to help you navigate through this so that you don't have to stay stuck. And so embrace that. And I am so grateful that I took another look at that doggone video she did. Thank you, Sarah Jakes Roberts. And because of that, I'll be getting the book. Because it is a journey of wholeness. I just ordered her husband's book, Torre, book on wholeness. So I am so looking forward to her new book. I think it's called Awake Woman or something like that. It's either coming out or it's already out. Nevertheless, make sure you go to her Instagram page, Sarah Jakes Roberts. Check out the clip where she's talking about living from inadequacy. It's not what you think. All right, guys, I'm out. I will see you guys Friday. All right. Have an amazing week and happy Cinco de Mayo to you. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Grace and peace.